Hi, I'm Edwin,
And I am Jack.
What up, though?
and welcome back to the 950 Club.
Woo-hoo!
I don't do all that.
All right, guys, and this is the second half of our After Hours with Jamaal.
I'm hijacking this episode. So
He has hijacked this episode.
I've
Here we go.
hijacked the episode. So, surprise catch-up number 2 for Jack. One of your all-time favorites, Mushi Shi.
He is so happy right now.
Oh,
It's like
I could hug you right
Please
now.
don't.
I think Jack is on cloud nine.
we
right
were
now.
we were kind of talking about it on the ride up here.
We were.
Yeah.
That was my second surprise catch-up for you.
He loves this show.
It's my number
so
one.
much.
After I watched this show, I'm like, this is a total Jack show. The folksy intro song has Jack written all over it.
Yeah.
The goofy folksy guitar song.
Kiki story.
that artist is bad, by the way.
The anthology style that the episodes take.
Mhm.
There's a lot of, you can tell there's a lot of Japanese stories and folk tales that's mixed into this.
You just don't know what you're in too. I love that.
This
I love
has
it.
Jack written
All
over it.
Oh yeah.
over. Yeah.
So
This it in a way it kind of reminds me of his other favorite, which is Hiki Story.
mhm.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of similarities
Oh, yeah.
between the two of them.
And it's beyond like what we can comprehend. Like one person had that imagination since day one, and they're like, "How did this come to be?" You know, it's a show that whelms me a lot. I've seen it a couple times already, both seasons. I like both seasons a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's 2 movies, or no, you know what? 1 movie. I still have to see the movie.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's one of the first DVD covers I ever saw too. I saw it in Best Buy, and initially the art, seeing it, I'm like, it looked alien. It looked like it was something that is not even a form of entertainment. It was just like, it looked like a painting in a little shelf. I'm like, I'll watch this. I didn't have money to buy it, and it was a regret of mine. And eventually, years later, once I got back more into anime, I'm like, all right, I'll finally check it out. It seemed like a really artistic type of show, something I would like. And then go back. It's my number 1 for a reason.
It is your number 1 for a reason. And it's a very good show.
Yeah.
Well paced. There's a lot to like about the show. Like you don't have to watch this in order at all.
It's
No.
it's
like
no,
you could just
it's technically no linear plot, but it's the
No.
story itself in each episode. It's the plot.
yes. Yeah, anthology style.
Yep.
So each episode has its own thing. So it really just comes down to which story engages you the most.
Yep.
And the one thing I can say was some of the character designs were way too similar.
At least with the supporting characters.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, this is the kid from the last episode.
Yeah.
It's somebody totally different. I'm
Yeah.
like, they look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, they spent more time. I think there's more character design on the different is there a specific name for the creatures in each show? The
Sometimes.
yokai
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
the-
But
yeah.
they're all classified as Mushi, and some are in
Mushi.
between.
They're
Yeah.
all Mushi, but they have
spend
different
a lot more
classifications.
time. Yeah, they
Yeah.
spend a lot more time on the character designs, I think, for the Mushi
Yeah.
Absolutely.
than they do for the villagers.
Mhm.
And I noticed that, and I thought that was a way to, because this show is very dreamlike.
Yeah.
You
I
have
can see
no,
that.
you don't
Yeah.
know where you're going.
No,
literally
you're
from
like
the second.
walking in. It's like there's a lot of times where I'm like, all right, what's real and what isn't in this show? because I'm like, this man could have drifted into a town that doesn't even exist.
Yes.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
part of the theme too.
Yeah.
Because this is the discovery of a man trying to find himself.
Yeah.
For me, this show could have fit in. I'm going to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender for a
Okay.
few minutes
Yeah.
Mhm.
because there's episodes that they do that delve kind of like into Japanese folklore, and I felt that this show was very similar to those shows where Aang travels into like other worlds. And for me, those shows were very similar to this show in the way that the main character for Mushi Mushi could have been just a side character from Avatar that just wandered into like his own adventures, and it has that same dream quality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If I may ask you, Jamal, did you get an X-Files vibe?
I didn't really watch X Files.
Okay. It's
X Files didn't do anything
for a
me.
weird reason. Like
But-
that's what made me initially keep up with the show because the first 2 episodes are like very different, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe he's trying to investigate more than really with these characters, and then became more like almost like a science show.
Well, he's there's definitely there's that almost technical aspect to it.
Yeah.
Like I'm a doctor, and let me see what like cure.
A shaman,
Yeah.
a shaman. Yeah.
Yeah, like what cure. Like he's almost like a traveling doctor.
He is.
Merchants. Yeah.
and
He is.
Yeah, and so I get the technical aspect, and I get the references to. There's definitely that spooky aspect to this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
almost like
The ambiance. overall
obviously
is-
otherworldly because these creatures are otherworldly.
In
There's
between,
even that
yeah,
that rift that they always show.
the
That
streamline
river,
Yeah.
that these things are either escaping from or going to. And so there's a lot of similarities. I don't see like a direct correlation to the X-Files, but like in mood, in tone, in the dark, kind of like the darkness of the show.
Yeah.
I do see those. You can make those comparisons. I thought this was a very strong, well done show. It lost me in like there's a little bit of repetition. I felt,
Second season's a little bit different. It's a little bit more of the arc with Genko. So
yeah.
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 You feel like he's about to die, kind of.
Well, I didn't watch the second season.
Trust me, it's really good.
A little bit of I could see the little bit of repetition. And I definitely felt that way when I saw the character designs. But the anthology aspect of it kind of helps out
Yeah.
that a bit. So it's like, you can kind of like pick this in here and move it over there. But there were a couple times where the Mushi were just kind of like,
No, and ultimately, like it's appreciation, the good and the bad, almost like humans. And it's the first ever medium where I saw where I'm like, okay, this is humanity. People have flaws.
and you can tell that there's a number of shows that's come out since then that you could tell were definitely inspired by Mushi-Shi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
when we just mentioned Heike Story. Heike Story is the same type of like dream-like beats, almost like you're in one like scenario to another, and there's no rhyme or reason. You just go with it.
So that what's the show I watched?
Even Mushiko Tensei. Mushiko Tensei has a Mushi-Shi type of like
Kind of.
that, and To Your Eternity as well kind of has that same like
I think To Your Eternity more so
yeah.
than Mushiko Tensei, especially toward the beginning of To Your Eternity.
Yeah.
So the Dr. Ramon Mysterious Disease Specialist or something.
Oh, okay. I like that one.
I like that one.
Okay.
Very similar.
Okay, with the Dr.
I got the
Jones.
same similar thing.
Gotcha.
The elements, yeah.
The elements of that. And you know what? I would make the argument that the evil spirits that are in Jujutsu Kaisen
Yoki.
kind of
Yokai.
have the same
Very similar. Yeah.
very similar thing.
It's technically
Yeah.
the first spirit.
So-
Yeah. And of course, if you're a fan of Spirited Away, it's perfect for that as well.
Mhm.
You learn more about Japanese culture and how they view spirits in a weird way. The Shinto religion, essentially. Yeah.
So I thought that this, if you're into that, if you're into like Japanese folklore and that sort of thing, it's good. It's a very chill anime.
Oh, yeah.
Very chill anime.
But you don't
It's
get
very-
tired. And every episode I've seen, of course, you have to have it when it's super quiet. I've never fell asleep watching an episode. It's that like, oh my god, I'm like in between
Very
sleeping.
chill,
Yeah.
very relaxing,
Yeah.
very easy to take in. Genko is a interesting character. I like the episode with his backstory.
He's a baffling like it's almost like he's smart enough to fix scenarios, but there's trial and error still. So
Well, he's gone through so much
yeah.
that he's kind of like an expert on this stuff. But there's still things that he runs across
that he doesn't know about.
doesn't know.
Yeah.
And that's the interesting thing about it. Is not like, all right, he's not House.
No.
Where he's just like, all right, bring it here, blah blah blah, done. He's learning as he's going about to these
lot
different things.
more human, than you would figure somebody like him would be. Sometimes I felt that he was a lot more flawed than not than other characters, but like he's human.
Yeah.
He's not
Mhm.
perfect. Like you said, he's not as almost like I want to do this, but at the same time I don't.
Mhm.
I felt that there was that conflict in him.
Well, he's technically a walking curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a walking curse.
Yeah.
And all of these people, and that's the good thing about the show. He's telling everybody, look, I can't be here for long, but I'll be back.
Yeah.
And he always comes back, and you get the little story of the little payoff or whatever. So, and that's a hard life to live, man. When you have to live that nomadic life, just because of all of the evil that'll be drawn to you because of something that you really didn't even know about.
No, yeah. And if you had to pick your favorite episode,
the one that stands out the most to me, again, the backstory of Genko stood out the most. Stood out to me a lot. The episode of
the one with his teacher's most excellent.
Yeah, the one with his teacher is good.
And the finales are phenomenal because they're not epic. They're not like resolving the story. It's more of like resolving a dream or like a, almost like getting rid of grievances. It's amazing.
The one with the girl that played the
biwa or the lute.
The lute.
Yeah.
The one with the girl that played the lute.
And I think that's based on an old Japanese film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those, and then there was the one with the kid that like slept through the spring.
Yeah. That one's epic.
That
one's like a Ghibli film. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a lot of really good episodes.
Was that because of the ear things that he slept all that?
Oh, that's that's a good episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I vaguely remember that one because it's been a long time since I've watched that show.
It's perfect for winter, and that's my only criticism of the show, because they jump into different timelines. You get spring, you get summer, you get winter, fall, in between. I wish they did it like spring episodes, summer episodes, fall episodes, winter episodes.
I thought it worked.
It worked regardless. It's just like, oh my god.
I get because you're
I'm a seasonal guy.
Very tied into watching certain things during a certain season.
That's Jack 101.
And some people are like that.
Yeah.
So I get it. But I couldn't care less about that.
Fair. And
it worked for me. Like whatever I feel like.
It's a show that calls you too. Once you have that calling and watching it, you don't stop either way. So yeah.
Well, I like anthology shows that kind of do that, because then you get this sense of like either the time doesn't matter.
And this show is a case study, yes.
Or it shows the progression of like the seasons, or the progression of like, wait, is it a year later? Is it like 5 years later?
Right.
You don't know. Is this like, did this happen before? You don't know. And in a show like that, it's not really important.
No.
There are small threads.
Yeah,
that go through the show, like the guy that buys all the Mushi stuff.
It's good.
He
character.
Constantly goes back to him.
Yeah. Well, they showed that there's progression. Even the girl that lives in that house, they could have fell in love and be married. Yeah. So there's little revelations, but just like a sliver of revelations for each episode.
Yeah, there's small. There's small.
It's
threads
so satisfying, though. It's so satisfying.
Well, because I think in that show they're not that important.
No, but
No.
it's like I said, it's human because we are that closed door sometimes. You rarely get that peek out sometimes. And
Well, yeah, I mean, because most people's lives are closed doors to us.
Mhm.
We
Yes.
just don't see. Even if you step into the room, you'll look at the room, but it's all these things that have been collected over a lifetime.
Yeah.
They're stories that you'll never fully understand because you didn't experience them.
Yeah. And there's weird twisted, like we're talking about some episodes that could be up to like horror levels, like The Thing. And then
Yeah.
there's some episodes who are endearing to the heart and romantic. And my personal favorites in the second season of this one girl that's she has like this really gnarly curse that encompasses her, and she becomes this whole different and tiny being. It turns out it is a Mushi, but then at the end she's just a normal teenage girl. And she kind of has a crush on Genko. She's like, hey, well, can you stay a while a little longer? And it just like one like a nice turn on Genko. Genko's like, nah, I'm out. there's even like subtle anime things thrown in there. And it's just like, oh, okay. That was clever. They didn't do it the whole time, but you need those kind of moments sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very well done. And it's something that anybody could get into.
Yeah. And
it's something anybody can get into. All ages could enjoy this show.
And especially if you love art. Like if you're a Ghibli fan, if you like a lot of gorgeous shows, this is like a prerequisite.
It's very beautiful,
yeah.
Very well done. Very well done. You got that from the episode with the artist dude.
Him too.
That was able to draw. It's a good looking show.
Yeah.
My only flaw, some of the character designs. But
it's not the end of the world.
I know like we've said shows like The Chorus Recoil, it's more about the characters. This show is more about the story.
Yeah, very story.
It's very story heavy and following the story and how the Mushi tie into each story. So the characters, they're kind of interchangeable.
Yeah, well, because even the Mushi themselves aren't the point. The point of each story is human nature,
exactly,
and how the Mushi interact with that aspect of human nature.
Can you live with them? Can you coexist, or can you?
Well, I mean, it's to me, it was like it was usually some human behavior taken to an extreme that either attracted or invited the Mushi into it.
Yeah,
and it becomes kind of like Genki is there to be like, well, what did you do?
It's more like the moral lesson than anything.
Kind of like the Twilight Zone a little bit.
And
like,
sometimes they don't get it. Sometimes so like they get cursed for forever, or even like bad luck.
It's like, I'm here to hear you,
right.
But what did you do?
Yeah.
And there's also a movie, a live action movie.
There is a movie.
Yeah, I recommend it. It's okay.
That was actually okay? That was like
it ties into the first season. Only 5 key episodes. Like think of like what it's shaped up as, but condensed into 5 key episodes.
Okay,
that's harmless. That's fun. So
I see that, and that's a show. Well, that's a show that I think that you could do in live action because it's not over the top, so it doesn't.
You could do it as long as Netflix doesn't produce it.
Oh man!
If Netflix even touched Mushi-Shi, I'd be like, no. I'll be protesting for days.
Don't give them any ideas,
please, for the love of God. So what's next, Jamaal?
All right.
So,
thank you, Jamaal.
Your magical list of surprise catch-up.
Surprise catch-up number 2. This is my Edwin surprise catch-up.
I'm excited for this.
And this one is going to be Vivy.
Oh, yeah.
What are the Florite's Eye song or whatever?
Yes. I like it so much too.
Yeah. This was a show that I did not expect to care much about because I'm not a very sci-fi guy.
Yeah.
But this is probably one of the better anime I've ever watched.
See? Holy cow.
This is one of the better anime that I've ever watched.
Yeah.
And there were times where I didn't, but I almost shed a tear in this show because it was a very, very emotional show.
It is.
A very emotional show. And it was so well done. And this was it was like a throwaway show that they're just like, let's just put this out.
Yeah.
But it was so well done.
Yeah. And it didn't get, I don't think it got the attention it deserved. I don't
No.
think it got the accolades that it deserved.
Because they just kind of threw it out there.
Yeah.
They're just like, all right, we're going through the show. And it was so good. It's like if you all would have put just a smidget of money in marketing, this show would have been huge.
Yeah, just a highlight. Like,
Well, I think they didn't know how to market this show.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the problem. I think that the creators made this show and they did an exceptional job and they're really proud of their job that they did. But I think in Japan, they don't really like pat themselves on the back because it's like, all right, this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to do our best work.
And A1 Productions did this one. Oh, no,
Yeah.
it was Cloverworks.
Cloverworks?
They did this one.
Yeah, this was.
And this is just before Ranking of Kings.
Yeah, and for their studio, it's a little bit. Their repertoire is a little bit.
And Spy Family.
Smaller, yeah.
God.
But yeah, no, the animation,
Great animation.
the story. I mean, the only thing for me that was comparable was Ghost in the Shell standalone complex.
Very close.
I felt that, and I felt that this was like a modernization of that. But this show, you could say that it's a show about AI and robots, but it's
It's much
really
more than
not.
that.
It's about.
It's about time, I would argue.
Well, there's definitely that aspect to it.
Yeah.
But it's about what does it mean to be human.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, and I don't really want to compare it to Pinocchio, but there is a similarity in that, she wants to be, she doesn't want to be real. She wants to be famous. She wants to deliver on the promise that was her creation. But the entire show is about her struggling to figure out what it is that, what that means.
Yeah.
And it's insane that the ultimate AI, that kind of like AI backup, is like, look, I will destroy the world for you so that you can figure out what it is that means to you. It's like, we're all waiting here.
Yeah.
It's like, it's up to you. Like in the hero's journey, she's like, no, I can't take on that responsibility.
Yeah.
But then she realizes I have to. And she
doesn't have a
does.
choice.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a choice. And, since I watched these shows kind of closely together, Vivy and Chisato really kind of paralleled each other to me.
Yeah.
Because they were both just trying to find their purpose.
Yeah.
And Chisato, she actually found hers earlier, but she still had that arc of, being connected to the Allen Project and, still trying to figure out what her purpose was within that.
Yeah.
Like, I need to find this guy so I can find out what my purpose is. Even though she already knew what she wanted it to be, she still had to go and confirm it and say thank you, but what's my real purpose?
Yeah.
And Vivy was just like, I need to find out what the heart is.
Yeah.
That was her thing, but everybody can relate to it because we're all trying to figure out what it is to be human, what this life thing is.
Yeah.
What does it mean to really live?
Yeah.
And she's going around, and like you said, she's going around, she is saving the world time after time in the same way that Chisato is kind of like saving this utopia. Like, all right, I'll take this person out. She's doing all that she can to save this timeline.
Reluctantly, though. That's a weird part, too.
She doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
No.
She's doing all that she can to save this timeline, and it still goes to the poop scoop.
Well, because
it still goes down.
That's why I think it's more about time. Like, even when you do your best, like, no matter what you can do, something's going to happen.
Well, I think it's about, so it takes her a lifetime in order to realize what it is, what a life means.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
It takes her, like, she has to go back. She has to, it's like, I have fought for these people. These people, I have seen people who I fought for die.
Yeah.
I have formed these relationships with these people. I have defended them. I have protected them. And she realizes those are the things that are important to her. That's where her heart is. That's where her heart is. And I thought technically it's an awesome show. Thematically it's an awesome show. Just like its ideas are, I'm like, this show just did everything right.
Yeah.
And the weakest aspect could be like I could consider the action because everything else is just hammered on.
I thought the action was good, but you can tell they didn't want this show to be about the action.
That's what I mean.
No.
That's what I
'Cause
mean.
it did not stick around
No.
long at
No.
all. Those scenes were a minute or two,
Yeah.
and then it just moved on.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
I could see where you're coming from. They could have gave her a little more time to it.
I like
But
the fact though that, and this is one of the things that at first I didn't like about the show, because I felt like, oh, okay, if you're gonna do an update of
Ghost in the
of
Shell.
the Ghost in the Shell,
Mhm.
why are you making it about this singer?
Right.
And the thing is, it's just like life doesn't always let you do what you want.
Exactly.
And I think that that's
Yeah.
an important message for the show. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, you want to be a singer, but you have to save the world.
Because you're literally meant to do it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
she's the only
Mhm.
one. She's literally the only one
In that timeline.
in that timeline who could do this.
You were chosen
Yeah,
to do this.
Yeah.
yeah.
You want to do that, but you were chosen to
And-
do this.
And it just go similar to Mushi-Shi, it just goes to those depths of like, if I was this person, like doing this, like the choices are there, and you think of those choices too.
Yeah.
Like her choice of being in a museum. Like, wow. Like who would have thought that?
Well, it really wasn't a choice.
Well,
because she couldn't sing anymore.
Yeah, well, what
Yeah.
I mean is that you didn't expect that in a way. It's like a total like mind
Well,
blow.
that all played into the thing where I get where you're saying where
Yeah.
you think it's about time,
Yeah.
and I can see that a little bit. But I don't think it's as much about time as it is about, because at the end of the day, like she had to save the world, but her saving the world was her fulfilling her purpose and finding out what it was in the end.
Yeah.
And it's like, what was it for her to have a heart? How was she supposed to sing from the heart? And she was singing because of all of these experiences that she went through.
Yeah.
She had to go through all these experiences
In order to
to
figure out.
sing, to figure this out, and to be able to sing with all that emotion and passion and prove that the AI could have a heart.
Good call. Yeah.
And that's what it took. And
Well,
you
she
know,
had to
she-
realize that she was alive.
right.
She had lived
Mhm.
a life.
Yes.
Like she like and the time aspect plays too into the fact that this show is about progression,
Mhm.
because as she is stuck in her way of thinking about things, because she's one of the earliest models.
yeah. And her
But you
one
can
purpose.
see
Yeah.
the people, you can see the androids, and in each one, and in a way it is similar in an anthology,
Yeah.
because each one is a different arc,
Yes.
a
Yes.
different self-contained
Yeah,
arc.
it is.
But each arc is meant to show the progression
Yes.
and almost like the terrifying nature of technology.
It's up there.
Like there's the arc where that scientist they take his wife
Yes.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I know what
make
you're
her
talking
the
about.
heart of the
Yeah.
machine. And it is tragic and terrifying because she has found what
Mhm.
Vivy was looking for.
Right.
And this is what they turn her into, a cog in the machine. And it's just the broken, she's not even a person anymore. She's not even
And this show also has thrills and chills, man. I'm
yeah,
telling you.
they essentially dissect her construct
Yep.
to make her part of this advanced machine, and they essentially kill her,
Yeah.
but it's like hell because she can never die. And Vivy goes in there and saves her, but she's broken by what she has to do to save her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want humans and AI to interact like that. So they were like, no, we got to destroy this. We got to destroy this. And it pulls at the heartstrings.
Yeah. Again and again, that show's kind of relentless.
Yeah.
It is
uh,
it's relentless.
When that
Yeah.
when that
it doesn't let up.
when that
No.
little girl died, oh man, like that's like holy cow.
It was
Yeah.
relentless. It was relentless. And it was kind of like, you know how in the chorus recoil, you said you got the two showdowns. So Vivi had to get that second chance.
Yeah.
She had because she didn't do it the first
Oh
time.
no, technically
She
didn't.
couldn't fulfill her. She couldn't fulfill her purpose the first time,
No.
and it was after all of that went down, and he's like, "Look, this is the last chance that I can give you."
Yeah.
And that's when it all clicks in for her.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well, she kind of
I
has
have
to. She kind of has to lose everything.
Yeah.
In order to realize that, oh shit, like this. Yeah, it's like if I don't, it's like, well, not if I don't, but these are the stakes.
hmm
But at the same time, these are the stakes, but it's almost not the. It's like what you said with Shisato, where the Allen project was like the driving force.
hmm
With this, it's her song.
It is.
It's literally
Mhm.
her singing from her heart that is the ultimate like conclusion, the ultimate point of the show.
Yeah.
It's like, and you're like, wait, what? I thought this was a sci-fi action show, and no,
It's
it's
not.
not. It's about
It's
this
much more than that.
Yeah, it's about this person, achieving her goal and realizing something that I think even humans struggle to realize. It's like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's my purpose? What's driving me to do these things? Where am I going? with
Because
it?
because fairly early she wanted to sing in front of a lot of people. She got it.
Yeah.
And it still didn't fulfill her, which is again something that humans could relate to,
Yeah.
because we see it all the time where people get all these riches and they're still not happy.
Yeah.
They still can't find it, and it's just like she went through these different things, and it's just like every opportunity she did, she got there, and it still didn't click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still didn't click. She writes this song and it didn't click, but then they start singing it,
Yeah.
and it just still, and that just wiped her out. That took her down.
Yeah.
And it took, it's like you said, it took for all of it to come crumbling down. And sometimes that's what it takes for us as humans. Sometimes we got to hit rock bottom in order to rebuild from scratch.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
and those
So-
second chances are, you'd be lucky to get a second chance.
And she gets one.
She
Yeah.
gets one, and
And-
she takes advantage of it.
Yeah. And it's a little bit of a crime that this show wasn't.
It was only
More-
nominated for best music, and that's initially when I first saw it for our review, at least for the fan special, like that initially from the Crunchyroll Awards, because '86 was nominated for best anime. I didn't hear too much about it,
Yeah.
and then Vivy, which you saw and you liked, I'm like, only nominated for best music.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Jack was like, why is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I said that was I think that I said that Vivy was one of the best sci-fi shows I'd
That's
seen
what I
in
mean.
a while.
Like, why
Yeah.
can't it be nominated for best sci-fi? So something in those lines, at least.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know how this went under the radar.
Maybe because I think that it could have been because there was so much good anime
and like I said,
that year.
Yeah, well,
and
yeah.
like I said, Cloverworks.
a lot of heavy hitters.
And
yeah.
Clover. This is before Cloverworks really got the game going with Ranking of Kings and Spy Family.
Well,
Like this
a lot
came
of people
before.
probably weren't, because I don't even remember how this got on my radar. I think it may have been like I was watching the trailers
Yeah.
for whatever was coming out that was new, and I'm like, all right, let me watch.
For
Okay.
me, it was like a spring shuffle. Like, okay, that's a new highlighted film. Or I only saw the first episode. Same thing with the Chorus Recall. I was like, it was a dark opening. I'm like, take a break. I'll watch it again. Just not right now.
Yeah. Well, with Vivy, I remember watching the first 3 episodes, and I'm like, that's cool. Then watching other shows, and then coming back to it because the little bear is annoying.
Yeah,
The little bear.
he is annoying.
The little bear.
Aw.
And he's intentionally annoying because he
He's
annoys
sass.
the heck out of Vivi.
He's a,
Yeah.
he's a
He
sass
annoys
man.
the heck out of Vivi.
He's a sass bat.
Well,
But
his arrogance.
yeah,
Well, he's there because he, and like I said, there's a progression to the advancement of the AI. And so he is an AI from the future. And so he feels like, oh my God, I have to deal with this,
Slow.
with this
Mm.
Barbie,
Yeah.
essentially.
Drop your dreams, honey.
Yeah, it's like, it's like I want a transformer with a
Mm.
revving engine, and all I have is a Barbie doll.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I gonna do with you? How am I gonna get you to do, like, all right, this is your basic, And so that's the attitude that he approaches her with. And it's like, no, dude, that's not going to work at all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I liked watching their relationship grow
Yeah,
over
me
That's
too.
probably the most unique one of the bunch.
It is. It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
unique. It's very, because you can see that he grows more and more concerned
Mhm.
about her and her
Absolutely.
psyche, and the trust that they form, the trust and the bond that they
Mhm.
form over the course of 100 years is like insane.
Yeah.
And that's another reason, that's a thing that I think I found in similarities to Your Eternity, um
You know,
in that
yeah.
this is a story that almost takes a lifetime
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
tell, because of the realizations that she has to make.
It's
Yeah.
not almost. It definitely takes a
Well, that's the
lifetime.
whole, yeah.
Again, with the evolution of their relationship, you could tell in the beginning he was just like, I need her,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna have to do what I can to get her to do what she needs to do.
Yeah.
But that evolved over time into like a genuine concern and a genuine kinship, which again just shows her progression
Yeah.
in that, you know, it was all of these little things that came together that really that allowed her to be able to sing that song
Yeah.
from the heart
For
and to prove that it is possible for these people to
Learn.
Yeah.
to learn, to feel,
Well,
to
for
Yeah.
to
being
find a purpose.
You name it.
well, they intentionally trying to show her as a cipher
Yeah.
and as the basic model, but yeah, she grows. She
So
grows,
it is,
and the complexity of her character, and just that drive that she has, that blinding drive that moves her forward through all of this, I thought is, I felt like what with Jack said, so who's your best girl for the year? And I was like, Vivi. And he's like, what? He's like, Vivi. I'm like, yeah, Vivi. And he was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, that's why.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
She was a very strong character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Very strong
yeah,
character.
and this is such a grand scale show, and it's also still an anime. How it contrasts with each other is through her singing, and it makes it more endearing. It reminds me a lot of mine from a sense of Bookworm, that singular passion, the objective.
Okay.
I need to
Yeah,
I can
sing.
see that.
Yeah.
I need to get books.
I can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also like one of the best voice performances of the year, Anya from Spy Family, same voice actress as Vivy.
Nice.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the range phenomenal, because she's so subdued in this, and but so believable. Even with the major, like you sense that she's a robot, but this one's like she's a robot. How is she feeling
Mhm.
things?
Yeah.
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 So, oh my god.
Yeah, she definitely grows, and she's, like Jamal said, that shows that they have the capacity to grow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Which is what
determine.
they were. Which is again they were trying to paint. They put all this on her. Like it's on you to prove this to us.
Yeah,
It is on you.
humanity. Not only
Yeah.
humanity, but the
Yeah.
AIs too.
Yeah.
They're like, can you prove that humanity can evolve by evolving yourself? And she manages to do it, but it's a close thing.
It was a close call, and that's a lot of pressure that she was put under, man.
Yeah.
There was a lot of pressure, and it took
And
for her to get a second go.
Well, she cracks.
Yeah.
She cracks too, because she has that time period.
Everyone cracks. Yeah.
Well, she has that time period where she loses kind of like her reboot self,
Yeah.
and goes back to her original
The
self.
trauma.
does.
The trauma
Yeah.
over the island. Yeah.
She does, and then like the little girl that saw her on the stage when they tried to trick her,
The fan. Yeah.
then the fan, and it was just
Even a throwaway arc, the sunrise arc, that's like that could be its own movie.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think anything in this show was
I
thrown.
don't know, but you sense it like it's early on. You're like,
Why?
it's
I
just
know. I know
adventure.
what he means.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was more of a.
Setup essentially.
Well, it was one of the arcs that I thought the other arcs were stronger than that
Very,
one.
very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like her focus and what she was doing, and both of their focuses. It was kind of like it was a stage in like showing the progression
Exactly.
of like the later models
Mhm.
as things were evolving, and it shows like how clunky she is compared to them.
And that's that weird terrain where you don't know the pace of the show. Like, okay, they did a time hop. What's going to be next? Like, you're in unknown territory.
Oh, he tells you.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
You get used to it though.
I forgot his name.
Misato or just no.
No, the box.
Yeah, Bato. Something. Oh,
It's with an M. It starts. I know with an M.
oh,
But he actually tells you, like, hey, it's 25 years, it's 50 years, it's 75 years. Yeah.
No, eventually it's just because of how it shows structured with the arcs. Like, okay, this is a jump. You're jumping into a different adventure.
Yeah, it's something that I really didn't pay much attention to in the beginning, where it's just like she has a time limit on this.
Yeah.
But
well, I
and
literally
then he shows up and she's like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "It's been 50 years.
Yeah,
it's time for you to fix this."
Yeah.
He's just like,
Yeah.
you know what this is.
Yeah.
And
You know why I'm here.
And the robot's Matsumoto.
Matsumoto.
Yeah. He it reminded me a little bit of Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually think that they were gonna do the entire 100 years.
I didn't think so either.
No.
Yeah,
You don't even think about it weirdly enough.
When I'm like, they're gonna literally do this?
Because
and they do, because at first it's not structured the way other anime is.
Right.
No.
You don't get like this isn't a slice of life. This isn't even like
It's not even a typical sci-fi adventure.
No. It literally is these great jumps to pivotal moments in AI development.
Yeah.
And them trying to stop it. Yeah, so I'm glad you watched this one, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, Jamaal. I'm like, that's one of the reasons that we saw that it was like, when we saw that it was nominated, we're like, we need to go back and talk about it, because it was, I think, definitely a show that needed that one in the 86. I felt that these were two shows that, while they had fans, I don't think that they were getting the attention that they deserved
compared to the bigger.
I wouldn't have watched this if you didn't recommend it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no doubt in my mind that I would have just skipped over it.
Yeah, you would have been like, this isn't.
Not even.
Yeah.
But that ties into what we were telling Jack, and just going into things with an open mind, just empty, just like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Because if I went into this like, all right, this robot singing, sentience, he's gonna try to like. I'm already like, I've seen this 1,000 times.
And for me,
I want to see this.
And for me, with the similarities of Ghost in the Shell, like, is it going to be like Ghost in the Shell? No.
Yeah.
Far from.
No,
So-
it wasn't at all.
It was kind of like Fifth Element in a weird way too, just having fun with it, especially with the singing, the concert performances. Well, at least with that arc with the other singer robot, it reminded me of it at least.
I'm reaching here, but
the Fifth Element, the operatic scene.
No, I know the scene that you're talking about.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I'm reaching for you, Jack. I can see it a little bit, but I don't think it works the same way, because it's not, because and I think if you think more of a Lilu, less of the operatic singer and more of Lilu, I think you get more to the core of what your comparison could be.
Fair.
Because Lilu goes on a journey herself.
Like Vivy.
Yeah, just like Vivy. But her guide is more like the religious man.
Yeah.
And it's more about the past than it is about the future.
Yeah.
I think I'm seeing similarities that I don't think you even saw, but I get it.
Yeah. And Fifth Element's a complex beast.
It's not.
Oh, but
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
The complexity is there, but they really try to hide it.
That's what I mean.
They really, in the Fifth Element, they really try hard to hide it with all the camp and the humor and the ridiculousness.
Exactly.
Yeah, they work hard to hide.
And it's from the same director as Leander Professional.
Jack loves the ridiculousness.
Yeah,
he loves the ridiculousness.
The absurdist nature.
He loves that.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
and yet my number one's Mushi Shi and Trigon and all that.
Trigun has plenty of ridiculousness.
It does.
In it.
Yeah, it does.
Mushi Shi's a little but you love music.
Yeah.
So like Mushi Shi like when you talk about your favorites, I see it instantly.
Yeah.
There's like no say like the more if you know Jack, you could just look at something and be like, Jack's not like that.
Well, when it won,
It's not even close.
Well, when it was nominated, when he took interest when it was nominated for best
music.
Mm.
And he's like, "What? I gotta look at
Because
this."
I saw the first episode. I'm like, I will go back to it. It looks cool. It's just a very dark opening. So
I thought there were shows that had. I thought there were other shows.
2 Year Eternity, another example.
2 Year Eternity. Well, 2 Year Eternity is about life and death.
Yeah.
So there's.
It's just having that motion be ready for it. I wasn't ready for it.
I don't find the opening that dark.
No, I didn't.
You can't talk about dark openings and watch Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Fair. But man, it was like, I need to be ready. Because I seen Attack on Titan, how far that goes too. So.
Like I don't
Elfenlied, Berserk.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't really care about darkness. Like I don't know. Like when I was a kid, like I was taught from a very young age to separate TV from reality.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how dark or anything something gets. I just don't.
With anime,
I really just don't feel it.
Yeah, with anime though, it's like okay, I'll be watching like Kaguya-sama, Love Is War. Then okay, what am I going to watch next? Vivy? Not really.
I don't even make the connection
All
because
right.
I don't. For me, like I said, I just go into things with a blank slate.
Okay.
I don't even
And-
make a connection. But I could get how like if you're in this tonal space,
Yeah.
you don't want to go over here.
Yeah.
If you're
no.
watching Kaguya-sama,
For me,
you don't want to
yeah.
switch over to something.
Exactly.
So I get it.
And I watch a lot of Slice of Life. And
I
Slice-
can,
Yeah.
but I understand where you're coming
And
from.
I watch a lot of Slice of Life, so that
For
varies,
me,
too. Yeah.
that's kind of the pleasure of a new season of anime is that I know that I'm going to step into this season and none of these shows will be the same.
No.
Like
more-
I have an entire deck of shows that will be tonally different, plot-wise different, like it's like I'm stepping into a whole new world and all right, show me what you got.
Yeah, and we're
Gimme.
having the season
But
with
like some shows like Elfenlied, and I don't think that Vivy got anywhere near
No.
as
But
as dark as
it's just
Elfenlied.
it's just a matter of like seeing that first episode, registering in, take a breather, go back in.
I didn't find Vivid to be very dark. I just found it to be very emotional.
It was that was an emotional roller coaster for Vivy. I mean, for me, it was like, there were moments where I was like, damn.
It did get dark.
Well, I think there's definitely tragedy.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
moments where like it's, and I get the death scenes that Jack's talking about because I'd forgotten, and this might not be for kids either.
I wouldn't recommend
It's
this
rated
for
R.
kids.
Like
not X-Teen 17. That's rated R.
most of
I
it.
wouldn't say it's that.
No, most of
I
it
think
is
it's another teenage, high school age.
Yeah, most of it is okay.
Yeah, for the most part.
But there's definitely violence, and I think the beginning is probably the most violent part.
Yeah.
Of the show.
They're gun battles.
Well, I think,
but again, like we said, they don't last very long.
No.
She gets the job done quickly,
and the action's like the weakest part, sadly, or it's not bad.
I wouldn't say it's weak.
No,
I just say it's not a focus.
Yeah, because like Jamaal said, this show isn't really about the action.
Yeah.
It's about what's happening to the characters.
I said that too. Yeah,
emotionally,
the other stuff outweighs it.
Yeah,
so.
Especially like with that island scene. Like I almost cried for the little robots. Like
more than relationship. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, there were different moments that I cried through. That I almost like Jamaal said, you tear up, like the guy's wife and stuff.
Yeah.
But these little robots were just there, wanting to prove that they were useful.
Yep.
Wanting to prove that they could, be friendly. Like the little drawings that they did.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, welcome, Vivy.
It's almost like the kids at the museum. And that endeared me. I had like tear in my eye with the museum because it's beautiful. You rarely see that in most shows.
Yeah. They took their time. And I think maybe that's why this show wasn't as popular as other shows, because it takes its time to be different. It's a different beast. It's a different, like, it doesn't have the focus. Like if you're going for an action, just a pure action show, you're gonna kind of be
Yeah,
disappointed.
you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And it
with
wasn't a
pure
manga
action.
too, right?
And if you no,
No,
not that
it
I
was
meant,
just a.
and if you're
standard.
going for
Yeah.
like a diva magic girl show,
No.
you're not getting that either.
No,
It's
no.
like, we're not going to give you anything that you want. If you're trying to be basic, this isn't the show for you. No, it's like if you're looking for your comfort zone, this is probably not the best show for
Yeah.
you. But if you're looking to, like, not to have your mind expanded, but kind of like almost to have your heart expanded, like if you want your heart to grow a little bit by experiencing these emotions with her,
Mm.
then that's kind of the show that you're getting.
Yeah, and that's the theme for these catch-ups too. Essentially, like opening it up. These are very
Well,
different. from-
re-examining, like,
Yeah.
going
I
back.
think this
and,
is
like,
a good winter show
yeah.
yes.
for people like Jack. That went so seasonal.
And that's when we watched it initially. Yep.
So I get. I see. I'm right here with you. I get where you're going. I get what you're saying.
Yep.
So I get that.
Thank you for tuning in to another great 950 Club session with Jamaal's surprise catch-ups of Vivy, Florite Eyes Song, and Mushi Shi. And to be honest, we were genuinely surprised with these choices because Jamaal, he likes to play that card sometimes. He jumps through many genres, and Vivy, of course, being super sci-fi and relatively obscure. It's been getting a lot of notoriety, especially with his music. But he loved it, and we're glad about it, and especially Edwin. Edwin's been a fan since day one. And for me personally, it took me a little bit. Sometimes you have to be sold on the violence initially. So, hey, you at your own pace at the end of the day. But speaking of your own pace, Mushi-Shi is my all-time favorite anime. And Jamaal somehow, someway heard from the grapevine that it's my favorite. I think I mentioned it in one of our previous episodes that it is my favorite anime. But if I have to be honest, Mushi-Shi is one of the hardest animes to recommend because it's far removed from many other animes out there. And would I say that it's very engaging? Because people love Dragon Ball Z, people love Sailor Moon. They think of that as the archetype for anime, and rightfully so. However, Mushi-Shi is more of this world, but out of this world experience. Even fans of Studio Ghibli, I highly doubt, would get into it right off the bat. So with Jamaal taking a chance on this anime, so can you. And to be honest, I'm glad that Jamaal finally caught up with the show. And it shows that Jamaal is taking chances, and it shows that any anime fan could take that chance too. So from my number one anime of all time being Mushi-Shi, yes, check it out if you feel like taking that journey. It's not a harsh ride at all. It's complete opposite. So, and thank you once again to Jamaal. We would like to add with our YouTube channel, please subscribe. If you happen to check our Linktree page, we have a YouTube channel. So click on the YouTube channel and hit subscribe. We're trying to get up to 50 subscribers to do more live streams. Twitch might be around the corner too. Still up in the air. But at the end of the day, we like to do some quicker reviews and get rolling with more of our traditional reviews as well. So also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And listen to us through Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. Thank you once again, and goodbye.